Hi, my name is Enda Murray and I'm the director of the Irish Film Festival. I'm delighted to be joined tonight by Strange Boy, Oisín Mac and Jennifer Healy, who is the producer of the film Ó Bhéal. Strange Boy, Jennifer and Oisín Mac, tá fáilte roimh.
Gurmad.
Thanks a million for taking the time to join us tonight. Just for there are a few people in Australia who don't speak Irish. Not everybody speaks Irish. So with Ó Bhéal, how would you translate that now for people who don't speak Irish?
Well, we've been using spoken as the English translation of the film title.
Brilliant. So, and it's all about like from Shan Nos to Shanachie to hip hop. Jennifer, do you want to tell us a little bit about how this film came together?
Yeah, sure. So I produced a series for RTE a few years ago about music subcultures in Ireland, and hip hop was one of the subcultures that we included. And it just struck me what a vibrant scene it is and how much amazing Irish hip hop is being made. So when I saw the Arts Council and TG Ceathair were looking for new films about, elements of the arts that they haven't covered before, I just thought, this is really perfect for it. And I spoke to Ciara McCormack then, who's the director of the film, and we came up with this ensemble cast, which we felt, they all brought different things, all kind of making hip hop, but that's influenced in various different ways by Irish oral traditions. So that's really where it started.
Brilliant. Strange Boy, I liked it on your bio. A 1,000-year-old poet. You're like Finn McCool, born at the age of 31. Hey, how did you get involved with the project?
Well, I can't remember. I know, see, all the days have kind of merged into one for me. So, I don't know exactly when I was approached for it, but all I know is that when I was, the idea kind of clicked with me because it's just, just to show the two different connections between Irish culture and like something as kind of it almost sounds opposite than Irishness like hip hop, but they're connected in a lot of ways. So just to show the connection between them two things was it was an interesting thing to touch on. So yeah, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed the whole filming process. The trad session I jumped into when I did one of my songs was it was very, very intimidating, but I loved it. It was definitely like a learning curve. I don't know if I'd ever do something like that again, but yeah, no, it was good crack during the whole whole time I was filming.
It looked great. You got a great response. I wouldn't hold back.
They were told to clap. Do you know what I mean? They probably hated it. But
and now, Oisín, could you give us a bit of a rundown on your how your journey into what you're doing at the moment? So
I started off making hip hop when I was very young, probably about 12 years old, and it just kind of seemed natural because it was the type of music that everyone around me was listening to. If a car drove past in the street, you'd hear hip hop coming out the windows. People back then with infrared in the phones or sharing songs around and all. So I started doing that, but originally kind of was just emulating what I heard and fake American accent and talking about things that I had no idea about and all type of things. And then eventually, kind of, I suppose, as I developed as a person myself, um, I was always very interested in Irish history and culture, and I came upon this book called An Leabhar Breathnach, which is the last book ever written in Irish in Wicklow. And it's this poetry book collection of poems about the native Gael who were fighting against the Brits invading at the time. And well, from this is where the phrase "beyond the pale" comes from. Beyond the pale is Wicklow, where the Gael were fighting against the colonization. So when I saw the poems in that book, the way they were structured and the syllabic format and the 4/4 kind of rhyme scheme and everything, and even a lot of the matter, the kind of like underdog kind of mentality of it. I kind of noticed how similar the two things were, hip hop and traditional Irish poetry. And then yeah, as Irish my normal everyday language, so it kind of like felt normal to do hip hop in Irish then, and the two things kind of just progressed. And as I went on, became more kind of influenced by maybe traditional Irish culture than modern hip hop culture.
So an bhfuil tú rugga le Gaeilge nó le Béarla?
Is féidir
Well,
le
bhí
caint
dá
Gaeilge
se
lena right.
béarlas músdói, bhí an dáhan gama bhí má an óg. Béarlas mús teach ach bhíoh mórmhór múna gaige bhm bhí me trí bliana ríis. Bhíoh rint uncle am le gaige ad pein tamar fad, agus bhíoh gaige le crostá hart bh máil is siopíach istá chuí. So bhí yeah, bhí sceal náidir a cé grasla mar scoil an bhéirlan sin ach dada mar gúnaí go bí má hanga héine a gaige san ar a dogman scoil well má saola tá má sí má hanga héine a gaige tu go mar leir mí smú béirlan a gaige agus just thosa má cá a híal trí gaige agus dó cuidiró sin a batha an aíoní ana trí gaige freisin.
Hey, Jennifer, I was interested about producing a program like this. You've got a lot of different locations. What were the challenges for a producer for the show?
So it all kind of fell into place, and the kind of the crew that we had, and myself and Kira were, I suppose, we're laid back in a way, so we kind of just rolled with things. So it was all quite smooth. The scene that Strange Boy spoke about there, the trad session, that was Enda, actually, Strange Boy's producer and manager. He kind of just mentioned, we're probably going to go down to this trad session, and Strange Boy's going to perform. And the minute I heard that, I just thought that's going to be an incredible scene for the film. So it wasn't something we had planned, but it's something that the minute we heard about it, we thought, yeah, we have to be there. And I think it's a really powerful scene in the film. So yeah, no, I think look, everything and our four artists were so easy and so willing to do what we needed them to do and to allow us into their world. So it all went very straightforwardly.
Brilliant. Yeah, I actually was talking to Brendan Gleeson last night, and that's a name drop, but about his new film, which is about the sessions that happened in Hughes's pub, and we were talking about the session and how it works, and I thought that your performance there just fitted right in, and the respect that was given to you for from the other musicians. I think, well, it seems to me it's great watching these new films coming out of Ireland and documenting the way that the music is taking the turns, for me this is the future. Listening to yourself, Strange Boy, and talking about the accents, putting the accents on, and then Oisín, the mastery of the language that you've got there is just phenomenal. I love that. I don't know, was it yourself talked about the unbroken chain in one of the interviews? Oisín, was that you? Have I got that right?
It was, yeah.
And I think from Shanachie to hip hop, not paddy rap. I don't know if that was your quote as well, but the unbroken chain. Do you want to say a little bit more about that, the unbroken chain?
Yeah, I suppose it's in Ireland we have a history of an oral tradition that still is unbroken. You still have people singing Shano songs that are written maybe 200 years ago. So one Anna Choon, you'd hear it very often, and that was written by Anthony O'Rafter, who was like a traveling bard who had no other job. People had such respect for poetry; they would just able to travel around Ireland, write poems, and people were kind of afraid of him. They'd write a diss track about them basically if they weren't sound to him.
Yes, Misha Raftery on Filla, Lon.
Sinead and Farkana, yeah. So, but
Yeah,
that song, yeah, that's still you'd still hear that song very often, and so yeah, the intergenerational kind of tradition of it stretches all the way back to like Pangra I think is the oldest poem we have. That's probably about
yes,
2,000 years old. So from there to today is yeah, a direct unbroken chain of the one tradition that's maybe kind of changed form a bit. Maybe the links in the chain look a little bit different. Now it's kind of over trap beats or in a more rhythmic version or whatever way it may be, as opposed to a slower Shano song. But the craft itself is basically the same.
Great. And Strange Boy, do you want to tell us a bit about the Liam O'Flynn Award? Um, what does that involve? What does that entail? And how are you going with it?
Yeah, so that's basically an award that it's usually, well, like I'm the only rapper that's ever got it, so like all the other
that's it. Yeah,
recipients have been given to like traditional Irish players. As far as I know, anyway, I think they all
yeah.
have.
I think so, right. Yeah,
Yeah, but basically we get a bursary with it, and they gave me the space to in the National Concert Hall to make music, and also as well because we approached them with the idea of, you know, making my next project along the terms of you know, if you look at Keys, um history and like just knowledge of the land was passed down orally, through the generations. So that was kind of something I wanted to look into for my next project, like kind of approach it from that point of thing. Because growing up, there's a lot of stories that, like, you would only have known by word of mouth, like, so it's kind of the same thing, but to kind of capture that on in music form was basically the idea. And yeah, I
yeah,
mean, it's very prestigious thing to get. Like, so I was honored when I got awarded it. So it was yeah,
yes.
it was definitely life changing stuff for myself. Like,
And I thought what I thought was very special, very interesting was like as you say, it's a Liam O'Flynn Award, but the guys seem to be broad-minded and to acknowledge the work that you're doing and acknowledge it as part of the tradition and worth supporting. So yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Shan Kia nights. These kind of a mix of Shanachie and Iha. But it's a night that happens in Sydney, London. I think they've been in New York and Berlin, but it's kind of a gathering together of mostly Irish young migrants, and people get up and tell a story, and that's it. Yeah, it's very successful. Sells out in hours here in Sydney. But yeah, again, I suppose I'm looking at what young guys are doing, and I thought it was very interesting. It's all done through marketed through the internet. You don't see posters. It's all digital. But yeah, I suppose as you said, Strange Boy, we've been doing it for a long time, so it's not it's no surprise that we're still doing it. What was the most enjoyable thing, Oisín, for you getting involved with the project?
It's a good question. There's a couple of good scenes. I had a bit that didn't really make it in the end, but was enjoyable at the time. Was I had the full film crew follow me around with Electric Picnic for a day. So that was interesting. We did a bit where I read out the book, the Laura Branagh, up in O'Devany Gardens, kind of flat complex that's getting redeveloped near where I live. That was good. And we went into a studio actually. I recorded one of the tracks in the film, recorded in a studio, and had the crew with us there as well. So I suppose yeah, there were a couple of the highlights of the different days we did, because yeah, I think every day that we filmed was something completely different.
Yeah, and I saw in your bio that you do kind of workshops. Do you want to tell us a bit about workshops with young people?
Yeah, so I started doing them. I used to be going to this festival, Féile Ceann na Locha, in Turbergade, a little Gaeltacht area in Mayo. And I met this Bowron player there, Brian Fleming, and he was very interested in kind of trying to mix the two together. So he'd play 4/4 hip hop beats on the Bowron, and I'd rap with him, and it just worked very well, and people seemed to be very into it. So his main one of his main sources of income was doing workshops. So he asked me, "Would you be interested in doing it?" Because basically there's a huge kind of market for a gap for it, especially when Irish language youth workshops. So I said yeah, and basically I go in. I do Pangerbon, the poem that I mentioned, the oldest existent Irish poem. I'd read that over like a grime beat and show them how well it like fits into it and how well it works on it. And they basically, if you didn't know it was a 2,000-year-old poem, you'd think it was written for that beat to show that kind of this is nothing new or it's nothing strange for us. This is like what you were saying there, strange about how we've been doing this for a long time. And then I'd explain them how kind of rhyme schemes work and about kind of the culture of hip hop and being yourself, being real to yourself, talking about what you know, what you have experience on. And yeah, by the end of the class, we do for maybe 2 hours, and by the end, everyone would have a little verse written and have a go at saying it on the beat in front of everyone else. And yeah, I've done them all over the country in Irish and English, mainly Irish, but I've done a few in English as well. And yeah, they always seem to go down really well, especially with teenagers. They just take straight to it, and they're only delighted kind of to get the chance to do something like that a lot of the time.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Jennifer, what was the most enjoyable thing, like when you look back at that production? What are the moments that jump out at you?
Yeah, well, I suppose in general, it's a privilege with projects like this to be able to get the kind of access to these artists that you wouldn't get otherwise. I guess to be in those moments with them when they're in studio and you're there just observing them coming up with some new piece of magic or whatever for whatever they're working on. So, I mean, in general, yeah, it's an honor to be able to do that. As I said, the scene in the pub in Doolin was it felt very special to be there on the night, and I think it was also kind of just coming out of the pandemic time, so it'd been a long time since I was even in a pub that had a session on like that. Never mind filming it and documenting it. I mean, yeah, we filmed some gorgeous stuff, as Oisín said, with him, but it was just yeah, trying to fit everything in, and the edit is difficult. So that was one of the hard bits. But yeah, spending time with all of them was fantastic, and being able to bear witness to their creativity.
Brilliant. Hey, strange boy, how did you meet in the gallery? He's a man I want to know. A master's in commerce and a master's in music technology.
He's a master of taking mushrooms as well. I'm not sure you'd want to know that man too well now.
Oh, Jesus.
Man.
He's a clever man.
He's a funny
Very
man,
talented.
yeah. He's very talented, yeah. And he's a top man. I met him. He was making a song in 2017, and he basically wanted someone to rap over a beat break in the song. And so basically, anyway, he got onto me over Facebook and he sent me the track, and then it was basically I didn't write the verse until just the night before I was supposed to meet him, and I was like up till like 5 a.m. trying to write the verse, and I finally got the verse finished, and then we drove out to UL. Is when I met him for the first time as well, and then we recorded the track, and he loved it. And there's actually a video somewhere of me and him meeting for the first time. It's mad. One of his friends who was there at the time recorded it, but yeah, no, he's a talented man. He's very passionate, like and dedicated to like what I'm trying to do and trying to push that as much as he can.
Yeah, I love that bit where you were in the cottage and the young woman was dancing on the with the hard shoes, the Irish dancer, and you were recording that. It was like you could see that the brain ticking over, and ideas kind of happening as you watch it. There's one last question, strange boy. Who is your fashion advisor? Got the paddy cap and the hoodie. The fashion advisor.
Listen, stop. I had to stop wearing that, man. I had to stop wearing the paddy cap. I had to let my hair feel the wind a bit, you know. So, I might bring it back though. I might get a.
Nah, bring it back, man.
I had there was a certain paddy cap I had there for about 5 years straight. The thing was growing mold on it, man. I had to throw it away or something. You know what I mean? The thing was mad. But yeah, no, I'm going to be wearing it now. When my next album comes out, I'm going to get one specially made for me. I'm going to start selling them. Do you know what I mean? As merch.
Brilliant.
So it'll be good crack.
Good.
100%.
Good. I'll buy it.
Lovely.
Hey,
Amazing.
Gura Mila Maigov Galea for taking the time for the couple of fuckle. And good luck with the film. And yes, maybe look forward to maybe seeing you guys if you ever get down here to Australia. So Gura Mila Maigov Shlán agus Banach.
Cheers.
team.
Pyramid.